this filthy beggar away from me! She is ruining my special day!
The wedding is off.
Get this filthy beggar away from me. She is ruining my special day. The bride's voice echoed through the grand ballroom. She pointed a manicured finger at a trembling maid. The room fell dead silent. Hundreds of wealthy guests gasped, but the most shocking reaction came from the groom. The billionaire looked at his beautiful bride. He saw the ugly truth behind her perfect face. Without a single word, he pulled off his ring, dropped it on the floor, and said, "The wedding is off." How did a simple maid cause the downfall of the city's biggest wedding? Stay tuned until the very end, because the twist in this story will leave you breathless. Before we dive into today's incredible story, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It helps us bring you more heartwarming tales every day. And tell us in the comments below, where are you watching this video from? We love reading your responses. Now let's begin our story. Nicholas Vance was a man who had everything. At 35, he was a self-made billionaire. He was handsome, humble, and incredibly kind. Nicholas had grown up poor. He remembered what it felt like to have an empty stomach. He remembered working 3 jobs just to buy groceries. Because of his past, Nicholas treated everyone with respect. He treated janitors, drivers, and CEOs exactly the same way. Then there was Cassandra. Cassandra was a rising model. She was stunningly beautiful. She had long blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and a smile that could melt ice. Nicholas was captivated by her. They met at charity gala, and Nicholas fell hard. Cassandra seemed perfect. She was sweet, attentive, and laughed at all of Nicholas's jokes. Within 6 months, Nicholas proposed. He bought her a massive diamond ring. Cassandra immediately began planning the wedding. She wanted the biggest, most expensive wedding the city had ever seen. Nicholas gave her his credit card. He wanted to make his future wife happy. But Nicholas was a very busy man. He spent the weeks before the wedding traveling for business. He trusted Cassandra to handle the details. He did not see the changes in her behavior. He did not see how she treated the wedding planners. He did not see how she yelled at the florists. Cassandra wore a mask of sweetness around Nicholas, but behind his back, she was a completely different person. While Cassandra was spending thousands of dollars on flowers, another woman was struggling to survive. Her name was Rose. Rose was 60 years old. Her face was lined with wrinkles from a lifetime of hard work. She had gray hair tied back in a neat bun. Rose was a maid at the luxury hotel where the wedding was taking place. She worked long hours for very little pay. Rose did not complain. She needed the money desperately. Her young grandson, Leo, was very sick in the hospital. He needed expensive medication. Rose spent every penny she earned on his doctors. She often skipped meals so Leo could have what he needed. She wore old, faded clothes. Her shoes were worn out. To people like Cassandra, Rose was invisible. She was just a part of the furniture. But Rose had a heart of pure gold. She always smiled at the hotel guests. She always left the room spotless. She believed that honesty and kindness were the true riches of life. On the week of the wedding, the hotel was hectic. Cassandra had taken over the entire grand ballroom. She demanded the staff work around the clock. Rose was assigned to clean the bridal suite and the areas surrounding the ballroom. It was exhausting work, but Rose kept thinking of her grandson's smile. She kept pushing forward. The day before the wedding, Nicholas returned from his business trip. He missed Cassandra. He decided to surprise her at the hotel. He wanted to see how the decorations were coming along. Nicholas arrived at the hotel in casual clothes. He wore a simple sweater and jeans. He didn't want a big fuss. As he walked toward the grand ballroom, he heard a sharp, angry voice. "You idiot. Look what you did." Nicholas stopped. The voice sounded like Cassandra, but it was filled with pure venom. He walked closer and looked through the cracked doors of the ballroom. Cassandra was standing there in a beautiful silk robe. She was screaming at a young wedding planner. The young girl was in tears. "I told you I wanted white roses, not cream roses." Cassandra yelled, "Are you blind? Do you know how much money we are paying you? Get them replaced right now, or I will make sure you never work in this town again." The wedding planner sobbed and ran out of the room. Nicholas stood in the hallway, shocked. He had never heard Cassandra speak like that. He walked into the ballroom. As soon as Cassandra saw Nicholas, her face instantly changed. The anger melted away. A sweet, loving smile appeared on her lips. "Nicholas, darling," she cried, running to hug him. "You're back. I missed you so much." "Cassandra," Nicholas said slowly. "What was that? Why were you yelling at that girl?" Cassandra pouted. She wiped a fake tear from her eye. "Oh, Nicholas, it's just the stress. The planners keep making mistakes. This is our big day. I just want everything to be perfect for us. I lost my temper. I feel so bad now." Nicholas looked into her eyes. She looked genuinely sorry. He sighed and hugged her. He wanted to believe her. We all make mistakes when we are stressed, he thought. He chose to forgive her. The small seed of doubt had been planted in his heart. The morning of the wedding arrived. The hotel was buzzing with excitement. Media vans were parked outside. Paparazzi were waiting to catch a glimpse of the billionaire and his model bride. Inside, the grand ballroom was a masterpiece. Crystals hung from the ceiling. Thousands of white roses filled the air with a sweet scent. The tables were set with gold plates and crystal glasses. Cassandra was in the bridal suite. She looked breathtaking. Her wedding dress was custom-made. It was covered in thousands of tiny pearls. It had a long, dramatic train. Her hair was styled perfectly. She looked like a queen, and she felt like one too. Today, she was marrying a billionaire. Today, she would secure her future forever. Meanwhile, Nicholas was in the groom's suite. He was putting on his tuxedo. His best friend, Robert, was helping him. "You look sharp, buddy," Robert said, "but you look a bit quiet. Are you nervous?" Nicholas looked in the mirror. He adjusted his bow tie. "I don't know, Robert. I keep thinking about yesterday. Cassandra was so angry at the staff." Robert shrugged. "Brides get crazy before weddings, Nicholas. It's normal. Don't worry about it. She loves you." Nicholas nodded. He wanted to shake off the uneasy feeling in his gut. He loved Cassandra. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. 2 hours before the ceremony, Rose was working hard on the main floor. She had been working since 4 a.m. Her back ached. Her feet were burning. She was carrying a heavy bucket of soapy water and a mop. She needed to clean a small spill near the entrance of the grand ballroom. Rose walked carefully, but she was exhausted. Her vision blurred for just a second. Her worn-out shoe slipped on the polished marble floor. Rose lost her balance. She gasped as she fell to her knees. The bucket tipped over. The soapy water splashed across the floor. And unfortunately, it splashed right onto the floor where Cassandra was walking. Cassandra had just stepped out of the bridal suite to take a quick photo in the hallway. She saw the water coming. She tried to jump back, but a few drops of dirty, soapy water landed on the bottom of her pristine white dress. The hallway went completely silent. Rose looked up from the floor. Her face went pale. Her heart stopped. She saw the angry look on Cassandra's face. "I am so sorry," Rose cried out. She immediately got on her hands and knees. She pulled out a clean cloth from her pocket. "I am so sorry, ma'am. It was an accident. Let me clean it." Rose reached out to wipe the hem of the dress. She just wanted to fix her mistake. But Cassandra reacted with pure rage. "Get away from me!" Cassandra shrieked. Before Rose could touch the dress, Cassandra lifted her foot. She kicked Rose right in the shoulder. Rose was an old woman. The kick sent her flying backward onto the wet floor. She hit her hip hard against the wall. She let out a cry of pain. "Look at you!" Cassandra screamed. Her face was twisted in anger. She looked like a monster. "Look at my dress. You ruined it. You stupid, clumsy old fool." The hotel staff stopped in their tracks. Guests who had arrived early turned to look. Cassandra did not care who was watching. She was too angry. "Do you know how much this dress costs?" Cassandra yelled. "You could work for 100 years and never afford a single thread of this dress. You are disgusting." Rose lay on the floor. Tears streamed down her wrinkled cheeks. Her body hurt, but her dignity hurt more. "Please, ma'am," she sobbed. "It was an accident. I slipped. I don't care. Cassandra shouted. She turned to the hotel manager, who had just run over. Get this beggar away from me. Fire her right now. If she is still in this building in 5 minutes, I will sue this hotel. The manager looked terrified. He looked at Rose, then at the wealthy bride. He didn't want to lose the hotel's biggest client. Rose, go to the back office, the manager said quietly. Rose slowly pushed herself up. Her joints popped. She was shaking. She felt deeply humiliated. She walked away, keeping her head down, while Cassandra loudly complained about her ruined day. Cassandra thought she had won. She thought she had put a lowly servant in her place. What she did not know was that someone had seen everything. Nicholas had been walking down the opposite hallway to meet his mother. He heard the screaming. He arrived just in time to see Cassandra kick the old woman. He heard every cruel word that came out of Cassandra's mouth. Nicholas stood frozen in the shadows. He felt a cold chill run down his spine. The woman screaming in the hallway was not the woman he loved. She was a stranger. She was cruel. She was heartless. Nicholas remembered his own mother. His mother had worked as a maid to feed him. She had been kicked and insulted by rich people, too. Nicholas had promised himself back then that he would never tolerate such cruelty. And now, the woman he was about to marry was doing the exact same thing to another helpless mother. Nicholas did not confront Cassandra right there. He needed a moment to think. He watched Cassandra storm back into her suite, cursing under her breath. Nicholas's face went completely calm, but inside, a storm was raging. He knew exactly what he had to do. Nicholas did not go back to his groom's suite. Instead, he followed the trail of wet footsteps. He walked deep into the back corridors of the hotel. He found the employee break room. He opened the door. Inside, Rose was sitting on a plastic chair. She was holding an ice pack to her bruised shoulder. She was still crying silently. Nicholas walked in. Rose looked up, startled. She recognized the billionaire groom from the pictures. She immediately tried to stand up. Sir, I am sorry. I am leaving right now. I didn't mean to ruin the wedding. Nicholas gently placed a hand on her good shoulder. Please sit down, he said. His voice was soft and warm. He pulled up a chair and sat right next to her. Are you okay? Did she hurt you? Rose wiped her eyes. My shoulder is a bit sore, but I will be fine. I am just worried about my job. I cannot lose this job, sir. Nicholas looked at her tired, honest eyes. Why do you need this job so badly? Rose hesitated, but Nicholas's face was so kind. She felt she could trust him. My grandson Leo, she whispered. He is 7. He is very sick. The medicine costs more than I make. If I get fired, I cannot buy his medicine. He needs me. Nicholas felt a sharp pain in his heart. This woman was a hero. She was fighting for her family, and Cassandra had kicked her like a dog. Nicholas took Rose's hand. Don't worry, Nicholas said firmly. You are not going to lose your job. I promise you that. The clock struck 3 p.m. It was time for the wedding. The grand ballroom was packed. All 500 guests were seated. The music began to play. It was a beautiful classical melody. Nicholas stood at the altar. He looked calm, but his eyes were sharp. He looked out at the crowd of rich elites. They were all smiling, waiting for the show. The heavy doors at the back of the room opened. Cassandra appeared. She looked radiant. The small water stain on her dress had been quickly cleaned by her assistants. She held a bouquet of white roses. She smiled warmly as she began her walk down the long aisle. The guests stood up and clapped. Cassandra felt like she was on top of the world. She looked at Nicholas at the end of the aisle. She thought about his billions. She thought about the mansions, the yachts, and the jewelry. She was finally getting everything she ever wanted. She reached the altar. She handed her bouquet to her maid of honor. She turned to face Nicholas and took his hands. Her hands were warm, but Nicholas felt nothing but ice. The priest stepped forward. He smiled at the beautiful couple. He cleared his throat and began the ceremony. Dearly beloved, the priest began, we are gathered here today to unite this man and this woman in holy matrimony. Nicholas raised his hand. Stop, he said clearly. The priest paused. He looked confused. Excuse me, Nicholas? Cassandra laughed nervously. Nicholas, darling, what are you doing? Is this a joke? The guests started to whisper. A nervous energy filled the room. Nicholas let go of Cassandra's hands. He stepped back. He took a microphone from the podium so everyone in the room could hear him. This wedding is not going to happen, Nicholas said. His voice echoed through the massive speakers. The whispers turned into loud gasps. Cassandra's smile completely vanished. Her face went pale. Nicholas, what are you saying? Cassandra hissed under her breath. There are cameras here. The media is here. Stop playing around. I am not playing, Cassandra, Nicholas said. He looked at her with pure disgust. An hour ago, I saw who you really are. I saw how you treat people when you think no one is watching. Cassandra trembled. I don't know what you are talking about. Oh, really? Nicholas smiled coldly. He turned to the side entrance of the ballroom. He motioned with his hand. Bring her in. The side doors opened. The crowd turned to look. Walking into the room was Rose. She was still wearing her faded Maid uniform. She looked terrified to be in front of so many rich people. But behind her was Robert, Nicholas's best friend, giving her support. Cassandra looked at Rose. Her eyes widened with shock and anger. You brought that peasant into our wedding? Nicholas, she is a maid. She ruined my dress. She made an accident. Nicholas shouted into the microphone. And how did you react, Cassandra? You insulted her. You called her beggar. And then, you kicked her. You kicked an old woman who was old enough to be your mother. The ballroom erupted into chaos. The guests looked at each other in shock. The paparazzi began snapping pictures rapidly. The flashes of light blinded Cassandra. That's a lie, Cassandra screamed. She looked at the guests. She is lying. She wants money. She didn't tell me anything, Nicholas said fiercely. I saw it with my own eyes. I stood in the hallway and saw the whole thing. I saw how cruel you are. Nicholas stepped closer to Cassandra. You see, Cassandra, I grew up poor. My mother was a maid. She worked herself to the bone to raise me. When you kicked Rose, you kicked my mother. You kicked every hardworking person who has ever struggled to survive. Cassandra looked around. She saw the judgment on the faces of the guests. She saw her modeling career flashing before her eyes. She fell to her knees. She grabbed Nicholas's trousers. Nicholas, please, she begged, tears spilling over her makeup. I am sorry. I was stressed. I love you. Please don't do this to me. Nicholas looked down at her. He felt no pity. He saw right through her tears. She didn't love him. She loved his money. He reached down and gently but firmly removed her hands from his legs. He pulled his engagement ring off his finger. He dropped it onto the floor right in front of her. The wedding is officially canceled, Nicholas announced to the entire room. Everyone, please enjoy the food and drinks. It has all been paid for. But there will be no marriage today. Nicholas turned his back on Cassandra. He walked away from the altar. He walked right past the crying bride, ignoring her screams. He walked straight toward Rose. Rose was standing there, tears in her eyes. She couldn't believe what a billionaire had done for her. Nicholas smiled warmly at her. He offered his arm to the old maid. Come on, Rose, Nicholas said. Let's get out of here. Rose took his arm. Together, the billionaire and the maid walked out of the grand ballroom, leaving the weeping bride on the floor. The news of the canceled wedding spread like wildfire. By the next morning, Cassandra's face was on every tabloid newspaper and website. The headline read, Cruel model kicks maid, billionaire cancels wedding. The public was outraged by Cassandra's behavior. Within 48 hours, her modeling agency dropped her. The brand she worked with canceled her contracts. She became an outcast. No one wanted to be associated with her. She lost her fame, her status, and her wealthy lifestyle. She had to move out of her luxury apartment and live in obscurity. Her greed and cruelty had ruined her life completely. But for Rose, life changed in a wonderful way. The day after the wedding, Nicholas visited Rose at the hotel. He didn't just save her job. He went much further. Nicholas handed Rose a document. What is this, sir? Rose asked. This is a contract. Nicholas smiled. You don't have to clean hotels anymore, Rose. I am hiring you as the manager of my new charitable foundation. You will have a high salary, full benefits, and plenty of time to spend with your family. Rose gasped. But sir, I don't know how to run a foundation. You have a good heart, Rose, Nicholas said. That is the only qualification I need. And there's one more thing. Nicholas handed her a second piece of paper. It was a receipt from the city's best hospital. Your grandson, Leo, has been transferred to a private clinic, Nicholas said softly. All of his medical bills have been paid in full. He will get the best doctors and the best treatment. He is going to be okay. Rose stared at the paper. She sank into a chair. She covered her face with her hands and wept, but these were tears of pure joy. She fell to her knees to thank Nicholas, but he quickly caught her and hugged her. Thank you, Nicholas, she sobbed. You are an angel. No, Rose, Nicholas whispered. You are the angel. You reminded me of what truly matters in this life. Nicholas learned a valuable lesson. True beauty is not found in an expensive dress or a pretty face. True beauty is found in the heart. Nicholas continued his charity work. He used his billions to help thousands of families, just like Rose's. He never forgot where he came from. Years later, he met a woman who loved him for who he was, not for his wallet. They had a quiet, beautiful wedding, and the guest of honor sitting in the front row was Rose and her fully recovered grandson, Leo. Karma has a funny way of working. Those who think they can step on others will eventually fall, and those who walk with humility and kindness will always be lifted up. What do you think about Nicholas's choice? Did he do the right thing by canceling the wedding on the spot? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more uplifting stories. See you in the next video.